Hey y'all, Chris Jones here, founder and CEO of Guerilla Realty. And I'm going to show you where to get real estate seller leads. Specifically, I'm going to show you what's working now, not 1 or 5 or 10 years ago. Last month alone, we got 13 CMA requests from this one source. And these are all inbound leads from real sellers, meaning this is people who will have to sell in the next 2 months asking us, what's my home worth? And unlike most seller lead sources that agents use nowadays, this is 100% organic, meaning it's completely free to implement. You don't have to buy any lists or buy any ads. And it's also not overly complicated. So it'll take you less than an hour to get your first lead after watching this video. So let's get started. And remember, my company, Guerilla Realty, is an actual real estate team operating out of North Carolina, and we actually use the ideas we teach. So this is not theory. Our first 3 years in real estate, me and my brother, we tested virtually every seller lead source under the sun. So think the lists, so FSBO, expired, divorce, probate, tired landlord, etc. If there was a list of potential seller leads out there, then we bought it. And of course, that meant lots of cold calling, direct mail, door knocking, super painful, super expensive. And then we also tried some of the pay-per-lead sources. So think Zillow, Realtor.com, Homes.com, OpCity, etc. And then we also did some of the more DIY methods. So paid ads, Facebook ads, Google ads. And here's what we learned after testing all of those seller lead sources. The leads were expensive, highly competitive, and they rarely, if ever, converted. We didn't take very many listings. And so drop a comment below if you've tried any of these lead sources and let us know what your experience was like, because we want to know. But then finally, after all this testing, we tested one other source. And unlike every other lead source, this new lead source, suddenly there was no competition. The leads were unlimited. We never ran out. If we ever did run out, we could just go create more, which was crazy. And they actually wanted to talk to us, which if you've ever been cussed out or hung up on by any of the lead sources on the previous slide, then this is a game changer. Like more often than not, when I get to the end of the call with this lead source, they tell me, oh my gosh, Chris, I'm so glad that you called. And just from an emotional standpoint, it makes it more fun to work these leads. And then finally, and probably most importantly, this lead source is free. So enough teasing. Now I'm going to unveil our number one source for real estate seller leads. You guys ready? It's buyer leads. And I know that sounds ridiculous. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to prove it to you with data. So here's a pie chart that represents all the buyer leads in your market today. And here's what we know about them. We know that 21% are first-time home buyers, meaning they have nothing to sell. 28% are non-primary buyers, so think investors or second homes, and they also are not selling anything. But that leaves 51%, this giant blue slice of the pie, who are actually just sellers in disguise. And these buyers are either upgrading, downsizing, moving closer to work or family, maybe moving farther away from family. Whatever the case, they have no choice but to sell their house. Like they really don't have a choice. And statistically, they're going to be doing it in the next 2 months, about 60, 70 days. So if you capture enough buyer leads, you'll have access to all the seller leads you could ever want. And now I want to take just a moment to walk you through the numbers. All right, now I'm going to break down the math behind converting buyer leads into seller appointments. And to do that, I'm going to show you 2 simple calculators, and links to both of these calculators will be included in the video description if you want to grab a copy. But the first calculator, we call it the buyer to seller conversion calculator. And this is a basic statistical model that we've built to figure out, based on how many buyers you generated last month, how many listings could you take from it. And so I do a lot of one-on-one coaching. Usually when I ask how many buyer leads did you generate last month, the number's less than 5. All right. But let's just say, for the sake of argument, we're working with an agent that's really crushing it, and they got double the average. They got like 10 buyer leads last month. And so let's just walk through the numbers here, right? So here's what we know. If you generated 10 buyer leads, doesn't matter whether they came from a yard sign or they came from your Google My Business profile, or maybe that you captured them on your website, or it was a Zillow lead. When you actually call up that lead, right, only 55% of them are even going to answer. So there's only 6 potential leads left. It just has to be factored in immediately, right? Then of those 6 real conversations you're going to have, okay, 2 of them are going to be non-primary purchases, meaning investors, second homes. They don't have anything to sell, so they're not a potential listing lead. So we're going to take them out. And you've got 4 people that are searching for a primary home, right? And then of those 4, one of them is going to be a first-time home buyer statistically. One of them is going to be a relocation, meaning moving from outside your area to inside your area. You can't list that property. And so what you're going to be left with is one measly local seller. And if everything goes just perfectly, perhaps you could turn that into 1 CMA request using the method that I'm about to teach you in this video, right? 1 measly lead. And if you have a 50% conversion, I mean, chances are you are not taking a listing from these 10 buyer leads, right? And so the moral of the story is that the number of leads that the average realtor is generating is not enough. And so if you ever thought, or if you're thinking while watching this video, Chris, I generate buyer leads all the time. How come I'm not converting more listings? It's because you're not generating enough. And so we're going to fix that with this video. But I want you to imagine for just a moment that you had generated 100 buyer leads last month. Well, now suddenly the math is different. The calculus is a little different. So we would have generated 11 CMA requests in all likelihood. Now, could you take some signed listings from getting 11 CMA requests from local sellers? Heck yeah, I think you could have. All right. So now what I want to do is I want to work this from a different angle using a different calculator that we call the reverse engineer calculator. So this is probably the most important calculator that we use in our business. And I'm going to show you real quick how it works. But what we're going to do is we're going to come at this from a different angle, where instead of starting with how many buyer leads we actually generated, we're going to start with how much money we actually want to make on a monthly basis. We call this our TMI, or target monthly income. And so I want you to imagine that, and this is a really typical number when I coach agents, that your real estate business, you want it to be generating about $20,000 a month in net income, or an annual net income about $240K. So now we just have to put in your market stats. So let's assume a median sale price of 450, pretty typical. Average commission side, or typical commission side, of 2.75%, and then an effective company split of 80%. And hopefully you're doing a little better than that, but let's just assume for the sake of argument it's about 80%. Pretty typical. Then 2 more inputs. You've got to input anywhere you see a red dotted border. So rate your phone skills on a scale of 1 to 10. 1 is you're horrible on the phone and you get really nervous when you have to make calls. 10 is you're a Jedi Ninja Master. Every time you make a phone call, you end up setting a listing appointment, and you could teach others to do it too. So let's just assume you're average and you're generating, or not you're generating, but your phone skills are about a 5. And then you have to pick what percentage of your business do you want to come from sellers. Now, because of the topic of this video, we're going to assume that you're focused on getting more real estate seller leads. And so we're going to assume that you want at least 80% of your business coming from sellers. And so here's what we know. We know that based on these stats and based on that goal, you're going to need to be able to get 24 closings this year. All right, 19 of which are going to be seller closings or listings. All right, does that make sense? All right, but we're not going to stop there. So what we've figured out through our advanced statistical modeling is that every realtor, based on their goals in their market, has a very specific lead number attached to that goal. And so what we've done is we've worked backwards from the goal of $20,000 a month and broken it down into its constituent ingredients and figured out how many leads do we have to generate on a monthly basis in order to hit that goal. And the number for this agent, for this instant, is 94. And here's what's cool. What that means is that if this agent generates 94 leads, the $20,000 a month in target monthly income, it's going to be a lock. right? It's going to take care of itself, right? And by the same token, if this agent doesn't generate 94 leads, okay, they'll likely never hit their income goals, right? Does that make sense? So that's why this calculator is so powerful. But back to the topic of this video, what that means is now all we need is a playbook that will bring you 94 qualified buyer leads per month, every month. And then we need a script to connect with them as sellers. And it may sound like a stretch. Maybe you've never generated 94 leads ever, right? Maybe you've never generated 94 leads in a year, let alone in a month, every month. But the playbook that I'm about to walk you through, it's very realistic to do 94 leads per month, and it doesn't have to cost you a dime. So we'll get into that next. Real quick, if you want my private limitless listing leads playbook, I've put together a free training where I show you the playbook that I use to bring in 94 qualified buyer leads per month. And it includes everything you need to get started today. Copy and paste ads, how to run them for free, my scripts, the whole system. And you can get all the downloads for free at the first link in the video description below. So grab that training. All right, I highly recommend that training if you want to convert real estate seller leads from buyer leads. But I'm going to walk you through one of our easiest playbooks right now. It's our classified ads playbook. And I'm just going to give it to you in broad strokes. Step one is you've got to borrow a listing. So you do not need your own active listings in order to get started with this strategy. We actually recommend, whether you have any active listings or not, that you go out and you borrow a listing. And this part's very simple. Then you're going to write a high converting classified ads. I'll show you exactly how to do that. And then you're going to post it to the top 3 classified sites in your area. And I'll show you how to identify what those are. And then step 4 is you're going to rinse and repeat 6 times. And the reason why 6 times, we found this is kind of the sweet spot that you can never guarantee that any one ad or one listing is going to generate a bunch of leads. But you can always guarantee that if you have 6 ads, that at least 1 or 2 of them will produce a very high volume of leads. So here's how I do it. Okay, so step 1 is to borrow a listing. So here I am in my local MLS. We're on the matrix system. So if you are too, then this looks familiar. Otherwise, it might not. But we want to borrow a listing. So I'm not going to get deep in the weeds. If you want to know exactly how to borrow a listing, we cover that in the free training at the first link in the video description. And trust me, you want to grab that while it's still available. But what we've done is we've established relationships with several listing agents, high volume listing agents here in our market, Fayetteville, North Carolina, so that we have blanket permission to advertise any of their active listings. And so what we do is we log into the MLS and we just go and search for any listings under that agent's name. And so that's what I'm doing here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to browse through these listings and try to find a great listing that I think will do well when I post an ad on classifieds. All right, so we identified a listing that we want to advertise on the classifieds. It's 123 Ellington Street. So I'm going to show you what I do. I'm going to go over to my Pipeline Pro Tools dashboard. Again, this is my company's flagship product. I highly recommend that you get it. It's not super expensive. But if you don't have Pro Tools, don't worry. There is a do-it-yourself version, a DIY version. Again, just grab the training. It's at the first link in the video description. But what I'm going to do, because I have Pro Tools, is I'm going to go to my listings and I'm going to import this property as a new listing. So it's 123 Ellington Street. And we're going to let Google do its thing and identify the listing. And then we're going to click auto import. And what Pro Tools is going to do, this is our listing grabber tool. It's going to go out and it's going to extract all the property details, all the photos, and everything that it needs in order to build a single property website and also start writing classified ads for us. And Jono, you can clip this part. And all right, there you have it. It got all the details. It, 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms. Looks like the square footage is a little funky, so we'll need to go back and fix that. And got the MLS description. and looks like it got all the photos. That's fantastic. And so we're going to click save as soon as we rename it. This name is available. We're going to click save. And now we've imported this new listing. And so the next step is to create an ad. And so we're going to go to our ads section, our ads tab in Pro Tools, and we're going to click create a new ad. And we're going to go 123 Ellington Street, and then just click review ad copy. Now, when it comes to posting in the classified sites, we're going to talk about where you should be posting it. But if you're in the US, you should be posting at minimum on Craigslist and Facebook Marketplace. If you're in Canada, you'd want to add Kijiji to the mix. But if you're in the US, we're going to start with Craigslist and Facebook Marketplace. And we're actually going to do Facebook Marketplace first. And so all you have to do is click generate the ad. It's going to write this high converting ad. It's got a call to action built into it with a single property website that will actually convert leads. And then we're just going to click autofill ad, and it's going to auto post this to Facebook Marketplace. Now, obviously, this is only if you have Pro Tools. It's going to save you a boatload of time. But again, we will walk you through the step-by-step manual do-it-yourself version if you grab that training at the video description or at the link in the video description. So it looks like it's got the perfect ad over here, all the information filled out just right, just like we teach in the playbook. And all we have to do is click publish. So we just posted an ad to Facebook Marketplace, and it's going to start generating buyer leads for us soon. But let me show you how easy it is if you have Pro Tools to also run an ad on Craigslist. So we're just going to create a new ad. This time the ad target is going to be Craigslist. We're going to click generate the ad, and it's already generated the ad, and we can copy and paste all of this info over to Craigslist, or you can use our new beta feature where it just auto posts the ad directly to my local Craigslist. And you can see Pro Tools is doing its thing, and it's going through and it's adding the photos. Beautiful. And now we have an ad with all the lead capture that you need, and it's ready to go live. And because we're using Pro Tools, you know that it's following all the steps in the playbook exactly right, and there's no guesswork at all. So now we posted an ad to Facebook Marketplace and to Craigslist, and so now we're going to start generating traffic from this listing. And the last step is we recommend that you rinse and repeat this 6 times. So this is one listing, 2 different ads, Facebook Marketplace and Craigslist. Now do this with 6 different listings total, and you're going to start crushing it with lead gen. And by the way, if you're thinking, are you sure, Chris? Are we really going to generate a bunch of leads from these classified sites? Like, I didn't even know people used Craigslist anymore. So let me show you my real stat. So these are all the listings that we've borrowed and that we're currently running classified ads for. And again, not all of them are going to take off. So this one's brand new, so 0 leads. We just posted it during this video. But this one, 4 leads, not great. 586 Milden was 10 leads, and this has just been up for like a week or so. And then James Allen Lane has generated 25 leads in just a few weeks. 222. Okay, 4317 Wellington. This one listing generated 60 leads. It's killer, right? 12, 4, 14. So not all of them are going to perform at a super high level, but 2121 Biltmore generated 27 leads, right? And so I can just scroll down on and on and on. This was one of my favorite ones. This particular property generated 101 leads, almost exclusively from advertising on classified sites. So just to show you, yes, you can generate a very high volume of leads, but it is a numbers game. So we recommend that you rinse and repeat this process with 6 different properties today when you get started. All right, now that the buyer leads are pouring in from your classified ads, hopefully you have Pro Tools to capture the leads. Now that the leads are pouring in, you need a script that will reliably convert buyer leads into seller appointments. And that's what I'm going to share with you here. So you're going to navigate to callster.io. We'll include a link to this tool in the video description. But this is a free tool that we created. Just need an account to get in, but it's free. And once you log in, this is a briefcase of all of our best call scripts. So you can see them here. And it's also an AI trainer. So just select the script that you want. We're going to be looking for the seller conversion script. That's what I'm going to teach you through right now. And before you start using it on real humans, you can practice with an AI lead. And you'd be amazed at how accurate and realistic talking with these AI leads are. But this is unlimited. It's a free feature. And so you just click use the AI trainer and you can talk to AI buyer leads until you are consistently converting them into seller appointments. And then you know you're ready to go try it on the real thing on a human. All right. So just select seller conversion script and it's going to open up the Google Doc. And now this is yours to keep forever. So you can download it, print it, do what you will with it. But let me teach you through how the script works. All right. So hi, this is Chris with Guerilla Realty. I saw that you were interested in 123 Ellington Street. So we got a response. We got a name and a phone number captured through our website. And then we're going to ask them, we like to follow up with all of these inquiries and just, ask, is there anything we can help with? Did you find everything that you need? And then we're going to pause, right? And if you guys have ever called a buyer lead before, then you already know what they're going to say next. They're going to say, yeah, I got everything I needed. Thanks. Or some version of that. They want to shut you down very quickly. You're a realtor. They don't trust you. They don't really feel like talking to you. And so they're going to put up what we call the insurmountable wall. Have any of you guys ever hit the insurmountable wall before? Drop a comment to let us know. But anyway, once you hit the insurmountable wall, you don't have to be afraid of it. We're going to show you exactly what to do. We're going to say, okay, no problem. But by the way, I had a quick question before I let you go. When you do eventually buy something, will you be selling your current home or will you be keeping it? And the phrasing here is very important. Don't try to change it up and expect to get my same results. But when you ask it in this way with this specific phrasing, you will get an honest answer 100% of the time. Okay? And remember, 51% of the time, they're going to say, yes, we're going to be selling it. We're just trying to find our dream home first, or we have to find our replacement first before we even think about selling. 51% of the time. Now, the other 49% of the time, they're going to say, no, I'm living in my mom's basement. I'm a first-time home buyer, right? I'm an investor. They're going to say something like that. But 51% of the time, they're going to say, yeah, I'm not rich. I can't afford 2 mortgages. I am going to sell, but I have to wait until we find a replacement first. And when they do, ding, 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 you just identified a potential seller lead. And so here's how we're going to bust through that insurmountable wall. It's called an irresistible bribe. And so I'm going to say, great, no problem. By the way, we have a free service that might be helpful to you. We call it a bulletproof CMA. It's a 50-point in-depth analysis, professional price opinion where you go really deep. It's exactly, every bit as accurate as an appraisal, but appraisals cost like over $1,000 nowadays, and they take weeks to come back. And we do up to 10 of these a week. It's very limited, no strings attached, but it'll show you exactly what you would net if you were to sell your home in the next 6 months. You don't have to use us as your realtor. Is that something you'd be interested in? And they're going to tell you yes. Okay. In fact, we, conservatively say that, this response, a yes, is expected around 75% of the time. But the truth is, doing this for like the last 12 months, I don't think that I've gotten a no in over a year. Like I'm batting 1,000. And I think that as you get dialed and get comfortable offering this irresistible bribe, that your numbers are going to be close to 100% too. Like almost nobody turns you down. So great. We'll get that done in the next 24 hours and I'll call you back so you can download it. How does that sound? Great, etc. And boom, you just converted a buyer lead, someone who came to you because they were interested in 123 Ellington Street. They wanted more information about it. You just converted a buyer lead into a seller lead. And now, just do that. You just do that, 10, 20, 30 times a month. And you're going to have so many listing opportunities that you don't even know what to do with yourself. All right, there you have it. My entire real estate seller lead system. And again, if you want my limitless listing leads playbook, this is the same internal resource my team and I use. And I highly recommend it. I give it away for free in my training at the link in the video description below. So go grab that.